for y'all today. I'm decided to go live. I was gonna go live last night, and then I said it's too late to be trying to go live, so I just didn't. But trying to give me some extra lighting here. So anyway, welcome family to another live video. We got some announcements today, some stuff that out, and then we're gonna get into the topic of today. But please feel free to like this video, share this video. Somebody you know may need it. This is gonna be Relationship Car Chronicles, okay? And we're gonna go in a little bit today. Now, this is not gonna be for the super deep, super religious, super saint and all of that. This is gonna be for those of y'all who know, okay, yes, I love the Lord, but life is still life, real is still real, and you understand real, okay? Because this is about to be as raw as it gets. So as you can see in the title, thank y'all so much for going ahead and liking this and sharing this video. I want to point out the fact that, you know, sometimes we go through things in life. As we all know, we have situations that happen in our personal lives, right? That's just a given. That's just the way life is. When it comes to relationships and you talking to somebody, or you marrying somebody, or you in a commitment of whatever sort, and that commitment breaks. When I tell y'all, and I'm just being 100% transparent, even as a woman of God, it was very tempting to just do me at another whole nother level. Like, not even doing me like I'm just finna do me. I'm just finna, just be by myself, whatever. No, like another switch, you know what I'm saying, began to try to turn on, because I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. I'm gonna go ahead and let it be known. I'm not in a relationship anymore. I'm not in a relationship anymore. And when that relationship ended, it was like a open door, and I felt like a release. But I also felt like I'm finna do whatever the heck I want to do. And I'm just gonna be 100% honest. So I had to restrain myself to not enter into a era of what the world or the streets call a whole phase or a 304 phase, because I don't know if they'll flag me on here for saying that. It took everything in me to choose to remain. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I didn't make a mistake, because I definitely made a whole lot of mistakes after my, split with my ex. But jumping from person to person to person to person, that's what Satan wanted me to do. And I made a decision within myself that I wasn't going to jump from person to person to person, even though the relationship I was in did not work. Now, here's why it's real easy to jump from person to person. I'm going to tell you, and I'm glad you asked. It's easy to jump from person to person, even being a woman of God, after you have been doing right for so long and you still end up getting the wrong results. But I'm going to tell you why jumping from person to person is actually dangerous. It's dangerous for multiple reasons. You can catch an STD. You can catch an STI. You can catch feelings for the wrong person and it sets you back 10 years. You can be in a situation where just anything can happen, right? And we as women, we got to protect our bodies. We got to protect our mind. We got to protect our emotions. So you got to be real careful when you get out of a relationship with somebody and it's been a long-term relationship with them. You got to be very careful not to enter into that 304 phase. And why? Is because it's going to be extremely easy for you to do so. You're going to have so many options and so many people that approach you that you're going to start feeling like, man, you know, like, why are all of these people all of a sudden approaching me? When I was in a relationship, none of them was approaching me. Well, that's the tactic of the enemy, and we all know that. And so my focus, our focus have to be the vision that God have set before us. Now, I know it's not going to be easy. And if I can keep it real with you, I ain't always focused on that. All right. I have other things that I'm focused on too. I ain't going to lie to you. But that's my goal, to have my vision before me and to focus on what God called me to do. There will be distractions. There will be things to come. There will be people to come. There will be circumstances. There will be situations that's going to try to derail you and turn you in another direction. That's just the way it is. And it's something about when you break up with somebody that just make you want to just go run wild like a wild ox or a wild whatever, or a chicken with his head cut off. But we have to resist that urge. We still have to have a level of self-love, self-value, self-worth, that you value yourself so much that you're not going to just be out here just wilding and just giving yourself to any and everybody. Because at the end of the day, yes, stuff did happen to you. You ended up in a relationship. It was toxic. It was bad. It was whatever it was. It wasn't what you might have had planned. It might, if you was married to somebody and you thought that was the one that God sent you, only to find out that it's just no connection. It's just nothing. That sometimes can lead you down a slippery slope. That sometimes can lead you down to feeling like there is no hope. That sometimes can lead you down a pathway of destruction, or a pathway of unrighteousness, or a pathway where you might feel like, man, you know, I've been doing right all of these years. I've been rocking with God, going with God. And then I end up in this loveless marriage. I end up in this sexless marriage. I end up in this financially struggling marriage. I end up in this marriage where I'm not really giving all I should, and he ain't really giving all he should, because we don't really like each other. We don't really want each other. We tried to do it the way that God set it up. It didn't work. So it's just different dynamics, you know what I'm saying, of circumstances when it comes to this. It's just different dynamics of why your relationship might have ended. That looks different for you than it do for me. Like, but I can testify and say that, and thank God that I didn't, because before I left my ex, I had already had a value system. I had already had morals for myself. And so while I'm not saying that I ain't slip up or mess up or do nothing wrong, I am saying that you don't have to enter into that phase just because you did right for so many years. And I don't know who might need to hear that, but we got to still remember that we are God's daughters at the end of the day. And that comes with a lot. That comes with you remembering your core values, your God values, your godly morals, your godly standards. And if you fall, it doesn't mean that you don't love God, but we do have to remind ourselves that we belong to God. And there is a period where we need to, get up and focus back on what matters most, which is your purpose, your destiny, God, and everything he called you to. Don't leave that out just because stuff started happening in your life, is what I'm saying. So that's what I want to come on here and talk to y'all about. I wasn't going to be long. I'm over here. I'm ordering some food before I go to work. I just want to come on here, give you that message, talk to you, let you know that, hey, I understand, been there, done that, got the book, the t-shirt. I get it. That when you get out of a situation or a relationship and it's toxic, or it's not what you thought it would be. Even let me talk to the women who feel like, man, I married him and I know that this was the one that God told me to marry, but it still ended up going south. It still ended up going different. It still ended up being the opposite of what I believe God for. And now you mad at God. Now you mad at the person you was with. Now you mad at yourself. Now you feel just this sense of like, just, I don't even know how to explain it, but you're not really even enjoying your space in your time, your own personal space, in your own personal time with yourself, because you're so angry with yourself that this didn't work out either. And no matter what you tried, how you tried it, which way you turned, left or right, you were suffering in that relationship. And you just, some of y'all might feel like there's no more hope for you. Like, how could there be, how could I have missed this? How could there be hope after this when this was really my final straw? This was really the straw that broke the camel's back for me in regards of relationships. Like, I don't even know if I have any more care in me to give to another man, to give my attention, or to really just give anybody the best version of myself. I don't have it. And you know what? That's seasonal. That's temporary. That's temporary. You might have that feeling after you leave a marriage, or you leave a very long-term relationship, or what have you. You might have those feelings, but I want to remind you that, for one, your feelings are valid. For two, don't ignore your feelings just because you are a woman of God. And for three, check in with yourself and begin to do self-dialogue and see where you really at. And is this a temporary fleeting feeling or emotion that you're gonna get over it in a few days, or you're gonna get over it in a few weeks, or whatever? Take your time to process your emotions. And also remember that God is not surprised by this phase or this season of your life. So talk and communicate with God through your situation. Don't leave God out because you know that you might have backslid, or you know that you might be in a situation where it's not where you used to be. You're not acting how you used to act. You're not being who you know God has called you to be. You're not walking in Proverbs 31. You just feel lost. You feel like you're in a vague place, in a vague space. Still talk to God. Still communicate with God, because God is the one who can get you back on track. He's the one who can fill in your missing pieces, fill in those voids for you. He still matters. God still matters. It's not God's fault that something did not happen the way you thought it would. It's not God's fault that you ended up in a situation where it wasn't feasible for where you were believing in God to go. It's not God's fault. Sometimes we didn't slow down, so you have to take accountability. Sometimes it was me. It wasn't the man. It wasn't none of that. It was me. My inability to love myself. My inability to see myself value and worth. My inability to wait on God. My inability to vet properly. My inability to heal wounds within myself so I would stop attracting bums. My inability to slow down and to be alone. It's okay to value or desire love, but at what cost? You see what I'm saying? We have to be real with ourselves and say, you know what? I was willing to go this far. That's why I ended up with that relationship, in that relationship. That's why I ended up in a less valuable commitment, because it's all about me. And when we reflect and look in the mirror, we'll begin to really start doing that healing work, that work that need to be done on the inside, so that we can start moving forward and attracting the right people, the right places, the right things, because nobody is not just gonna be able to just get in your personal space if you don't want them to. That's a personal choice. Nobody can just roll up on you and be like, hey, what's up, little mama, or whatever, and enter into a relationship with you, or enter into a situationship with you without your consent. And whatever you give away to, whatever you allow, that's a piece of you that still need to be worked on if it's toxic or negative. So it's a reflection of self. It's not a reflection of the other person. That other person came along to show you what you still needed to work on. So I love y'all. God bless y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next live or the next video that I do. Y'all have a good day.